Day 4, just starting, that's the last day. Conditions are probably the worst today. It's gonna get windy, but we're battling it anyway. Just paddling across to the spot now, and we give it a very good run. Yesterday was a tough day, toughest so far, but amazing day for one of us. James got an absolute monster of a perch, 5 pounds, a big perch, and by now everyone has got the perch of a dream. So we are all relaxed today, paddling across. Give it a best shot. That's it. James?
It's gonna help us. Wow.
Help us.
It's gonna help us catch the perch. Hope.
That's a good point. We didn't have a good wind for the last couple of days, so you never know. Hi guys, think. Oh. Just got myself a nice pike on the little 3-inch pink shot from kayak. It was a great fun, great fight on that little rod and a little lure. Unfortunately it's not a perch, but it's a nice fish.
Right, over
92 to the so 92 will be probably about, what do you give it, 13 pounds, 14?
It's definitely got the girth.
And look, what's there? There's perch there.
Crayfish maybe.
It's a lovely morning, slow day on the perch front, but just was lucky enough to come across this pike. There's not many pike in this lake, but that's a lovely fish. 92 centimeters, didn't weigh it, but probably about 13, 14 pounds maybe. It's a very nice marking on that fish. Lovely morning. We hope there is a big perch waiting for us. We'll let him go now. We have something on. Decided to change the spot. Paddled for about 30-35 minutes, battled waves and wind, but the wind died down now and we found some lovely structure with plenty of activity around. And that's the reward. 69.5 centimeters under, probably about 8 pounds. Lovely fish. Let her go now. Off she goes. Lovely. That's a big fish. That's a big fish now. I hope it's gonna stay. Probably is under. Oh, lovely fish. That's another beautiful zander. What amazing fish. Beautiful fish. Going back.
There we have it. What is it there? £5.11. That's what you call £5.11. Pure
51
pure
centimetres.
seal. I was convinced it was a big zander.
Look at the belly on him.
Pulled line from the reel 3 or 4 times. 50, what was it?
51.5 centimetres. The biggest,
51.5 centimetres.
biggest and longest fish of the trip.
Yeah.
Right.
£5.11. Back to the depths.
We'll go back to find another bad one. And that's it. The end of last day. Day 4 here in Perchzilla in Spain. It was an amazing trip, amazing holidays. Like all the good things, it ends way too early. I wish we could stay here for a few more days. How's it going, everyone? That's it. The trip is coming to an end. The end of day 4. It was a tough day. Got very windy. We went to a best spot in the morning, the spot that produced for us the most fish so far, and we worked it hard for a couple of hours, but didn't produce any good. Small zander for me, a small jack pike, one nice pike, about 13-14 pounds, 92 centimeters, but no perch, no proper zander. So we decided to give it a shot and paddle all the way across the lake to the very far end of the lake, 35-40 minutes paddle from where we were, over an hour from where we're standing now. In the process it got a bit windy, a bit choppy, it got actually dangerous at certain parts, but we stuck at it, persevered, we kept fishing, and I was lucky enough to land a couple of zander. I got 3 very nice zander to 70 centimeters and 8 pounds. I've lost the one big zander as well. I had to go all the way down to 24 grams to actually keep at the bottom and start getting in contact with fish, but we got a few takes. The zander activity disappeared after a while, and it looked like that was it, but then something amazing happened. I let Carl tell about it.
Yeah, I'm still in a bit of shock now, to be honest. As Marcin was saying, that it was a tough day. The wind was against us, but we stuck at it, and well, I got my first zander. It wasn't overly big, maybe about 2 o'clock, and then we kept fishing. Got a bit windier as the day went on, and kind of about 4:30 when it was nearly coming to the point where we were going to call it a day. I got a take in about 12 meters of water. I thought it was actually a big zander because it was pulling lines from the clutch, which you wouldn't expect from a perch, but when it broke the surface, it was in fact a perch. And what a perch it was.
It wasn't just a perch.
It was a monster perch. It was a monster perch. It was 5 pounds 11 ounces, and it was 52 centimeters long, for those of you who like your European lengths and that. So
That's an enormous perch.
it was enormous. Yeah, it was what was it,
4 kilo.
2.4 kilos, something like that, was it? I can't remember now. In pounds and ounces,
2.6 kilo.
2.6. In old money, it was 5 pounds 11 ounces. And what a fish! I didn't bother recasting after that. It was just, I'm still kind of a bit shocked from it. So
No matter what measurement you use, no matter what weight you use, it was just a massive perch.
monster perch. Yeah.
Well done, bud.
Thank you. Gonna have a few beers now to celebrate.
52 centimeters and 5 pounds 11 ounces. It's mind blowing. What a great fish. Brilliant fish. What a great fish to end the trip. Shortly after he hooked this one, I had a nice fish on the rod, and it wasn't zander. It didn't fight like a zander. It felt like a perch, like a big perch, but unfortunately the hook pulled. There's nothing I could do about it. But still, every one of us has caught perch. We caught plenty of zander, some pike, and overall it was an amazing trip. Absolutely amazing. Thanks for watching. Now the terminal tackle, for those that like their bits and pieces and enjoy playing with all the different toys and silicone toys. Now, what did work and what didn't work for us over the last 4 days, I'll give you a quick overview of my tackle and why I use it and what did I use. I used 2,500 reels. Anything 2,500 to 3,000 would be perfect. Rods 10 to 30, 35 grams. The one I used was 8 foot 6 inches, a little bit too long. Still okay. It was very nice. It was a short boat, so I didn't catch kind of myself or kayak while playing the fish or while working the rod. But 8.6 would be the max I would go for. 7.6 or 7 foot probably would be a bit better. Line wise, braided line in about 12, 15, 18 pounds, anything between 0.12 and 0.18 millimeter would be perfect. The tool I used is a Suffix Performance Pro, brilliant line. I use Suffix a lot. They do loads of good braided lines and loads of good mono. Now this particular one is discontinued. They don't make them anymore, but they have a new version coming out this year. It's already out on the market. Very good lines from what I'm hearing. And if it's anything as good as this previous version, it would be a brilliant line to go for. The other one I used is a new favorite Smart PE 8 fibers lines. Very good. Nice blue color to it, strong and smooth. Quiet at casting, very good line. It's coming out this year, I believe, and it's another one to go for. Coming into a leader, I use it for all my fishing. This YGK Nitlon DFC fluorocarbon, brilliant. I can't recommend it highly enough. It never fails. This one is 16 pounds, 0.346 millimeters, and it's about the right size and the right diameter for the fishing we were doing. We were fishing jig heads and cheburashka rigs, so kind of a swivel leads or a swivel weights with offset hooks. I do like to use them because you don't catch, when you work close to the bottom and structure, you don't catch as many snags with them, and they're very easy to chop and change the weights, change the hook size. You're not as kind of restricted as you would be with a jig head. But the jig heads, they work as well, very well. I prefer to use them when I'm fishing a bit faster and when I'm not fishing around all the structure. But what I did use is I've used the combination of a jig head, and I use the ones from Savage Gear. They kind of come with a little hook there at the end instead of the lead collars, and I find it very good when you're working soft and small diameter lures. They don't break the lures as quickly as the other ones would, and they make them look more natural. That this little hook there, very good. I like using these ones. Or I was using an offset hooks like the Kanalgratis 330 in anything between 20 and 50 size. Probably 30 and 40 were the most popular. The water was a bit raised, and it was colored from loads of snow and loads of rainfall that happened in the 2 weeks before our trip. So what we found is that a wide bright lures worked very well, and essentially they outfished anything else. So by far the wide was dominant color. So the ones we've got fish on were this Savage Gear Cannibal in 3-inch in a white color, mounted on a jig head. The jig heads we were using anything between 10 and 15 gram and 30 to 50 hooks. So that produced fish. The next one was a similar, a little bit different action, kayak swing impact fat. That's the white side fish color, I believe. It's a 3.3 inch, heavily scented, very nice lures. Now the kayak are good lures. They are very soft, but probably that's what makes them good. So that's mounted on a 3.0 hook and 10 gram. Coming to a bit larger lures, I use this kayak swing impact. That's not the fat, that's the normal version in the 4.5 inches size. That works very well. It's loads of action in that tail there, a large paddle tail. You can see how flexible this rubber toy is. That produced a fish, and that produced a big fish. It produced big zander for me. Now I have a few other lures that worked very well. Kayak swing impact. Kayak swing impact in about 3.5 inch wide, mounted on the offset hook and cheburashka weight. This one was 10 gram. Same version in pink, produced another fish. Now pike, jack pike, and a bigger pike. Really like this color. Over here in Ireland, I'm getting a shed load of a pike on this particular color, and I was getting plenty as well there when we were away. The next lure, probably the one that worked very well, if not the best, was this little curly tail in white color, mounted on a offset hook with a swivel cheburashka weight. Very good. It's called kayak Magwag. It's another kayak lure anyway. And one more that produced the goods for us was this Z-Man or Z-Man shrimp in another bright color. And I worked that lure very slow, just jerking along the bottom. Actually, the first cast on it produced one of the biggest zander of the trip. Again, offset hook and a swivel weight there at the bottom. So that would work. In terms of the cheburashka weights, the swivel weights, well, cheburashka, because they come from, they were firstly invented in Russia, and that's where they get their name from. And essentially, it's a kind of it's a weight on the little clip there, and you can change this weight very easily when fishing. So if the conditions change and you want to keep using the same lure, you can just swap your weight, or you can change your weight from day to day, from a depth to depth. So I love it, really use it for probably 85-90% of my lure fishing. Now my good friend put me on this tungsten version of the weights a year ago, and I didn't quite buy into this very quickly because they're expensive. They're more expensive. They're a few times less more expensive as the lead ones, the lead versions are, but they are brilliant. They're very good. The difference between them is I have the two over here. They're both 10 grams. Now you can see this is smaller than that. It's a harder material as well. It's more dense, so it sinks a little bit faster. You can get away with slightly smaller weight than you would if you were using the lead. It's smaller in size as well, so it's not obvious as the big leads are, especially when you're going into kind of a double figures weight. If you go into a 10, 12, 15, 20, 25 gram, like, you really see the difference. And the fact that it's smaller, it's denser, it's heavier for the same diameter, means that you have a much better control and much better feel. The feedback coming from these guys versus these guys, there's a big difference between them. And I didn't believe it at first. I actually had to use them, but when I did use them, I dumped all the lead ones and I went for this. The level of feedback you get when you touch the bottom, when you go off the bottom, touch it again, you actually are able to tell whether you're on a soft bottom or hard rock. Good, really good. Highly recommending these little guys. Anything else? The clips. I used these clips. These are Mustad Ultra Point, a quick kind of a link change clips. They're 15 pounds, which was perfect for the fishing I was doing. They're size 0, very small. I didn't want to go too heavy or too large or too obvious in terms of the clip, so that worked really good. I really like them. Now I had also this, guys, mini breakaway mini links in a 25-pound test. Brilliant. Like, I couldn't recommend this highly enough. Now I use them for all my bass, sea bass fishing. Like, they are indestructible, never fail, very good, very reliable. Now this was my second choice for this type of fishing because I really want to go finesse and delicate, and they're probably a little bit too obvious and too bulky, too large for the fishing I was doing. But I did use them as well, and I did get a few good fish using this on a heavier setup when the conditions got very rough. Very good. Last but not least, I've actually used a bit of this spiking to my lures. So these are scented markers, and when I gave them to Carl and James to smell them, like, they couldn't believe how strong these guys were. The actual smell of this guy when they opened the markers in the cabin, it was staying there for kind of good 15-20 minutes. They give a color, and they give a bit of aroma as well to your lures. So I have a chartreuse in garlic, strong garlic smell, and I've crawfish in black. If you want to pimp your lures a little bit, just give them a little bit of edge. Sometimes it might do all the difference. I have no idea if it does or doesn't, but if there's anything in fishing that can give you a little bit of edge or confidence, or you can change something and get a little bit of that confidence boost, that's very important. If it lets you fish a little bit better, a little bit more precise, that's all you need to catch a big fish. So that's what we used. The other two guys used very similar lures. Essentially, they actually used the same lures, and that's what produced the goods for us. Anything between 8 gram on a very calm day to a 15 gram on a more rougher day, with going up to a 24 grams when we were vertical jigging in a heavy winds over structure, and that's what produced the goods for us. Now we've learned a lot this trip. We will be going back after them. We'll know now what works, but hopefully this video, this quick overrun, will actually help you get the right stuff for your trip whenever you're fishing for a big perch.